Hi, friends. I wanted to share a little bit about hair loss and possibly how mold is behind it. So, I know that hair loss is super stressful and sometimes it's just going on and you don't know why. So, let's break down hair loss in general. So, our hair normally goes through phases like a long phase of growth and an eventual shedding. You do lose 50 to 100 hairs a day through just normal shedding. But if you're noticing, more than that coming out or spots or clumps of hair coming out or even thinning, it's definitely something to look into. So to some extent, your hair does thin and change with age. Also, a big cause of hair loss is male pattern baldness, which is genetic, but actually can be influenced. And that can affect women in certain ways as well. So there's some things that have nothing to do with toxic mold that could cause hair loss, like pattern baldness, being exposed to anesthesia, chemotherapy, eating disorders. Those are not mold related, but there's a bunch of things that can affect your hair that could be mold related, including thyroid disease, nutrient deficiencies, autoimmunity, systemic inflammation, stress, digestive disorders. Um, and nutrient deficiencies from malabsorption. So, why is this? Okay, so toxic mold is there's about a dozen species of mold that are kind of extra potent to humans. And unfortunately, those can be growing behind the walls, in the floorboards, in basements, in crawl spaces, in attics of your home or your workplace, and they're kind of growing there protected in a sense because they're not out in a field where they're going to be, knocked around and the sun gets on them and that kind of a thing. So if you've got some kind of water issue, whether your roof is leaking and you don't know it, or it's humid in your house and you're not controlling it, maybe there's been some kind of flood, because of the way your foundation is constructed, that exposure can be toxic to you. And it usually happens slowly. We just don't even know it's happening. So that those toxins that the mold produces are getting inside your body. They can inflame your brain. Your thyroid has a sensitivity to them. And then they really wreck the gut. They inflame the gut. They lower the immune system. So you get more infections. You get leaky gut, which can lead to autoimmunity. Some autoimmunity is specifically causing hair loss, and others, hair loss is kind of secondary to it. Um, but mold can trigger that autoimmunity by the way it's disrupting the gut and the immune system. So, moral of the story is if you're having hair loss that you don't understand, you definitely want to figure out why through testing. And then the deeper level of why is mold behind it, right? So you may say, well, oh, well, I have hypothyroidism or I have Hashimoto's, so my hair is falling out and I'm going to take this thyroid medication. But what is causing your thyroid to be off? That's the question to really ask if you want to really heal. So we have resources. We have a little starter guide about mold. I've got a full length book on Amazon about mold. We do offer mold testing for your body. Another step would be testing for mold in your home if you find you do have it in your body. It's a big process, but just I want you to at least consider it. Just some hair loss tips because I have been learning about hair loss. I love liquid collagen. It's got to be the liquid kind to regrow hair. Massage and just getting more circulation to your scalp. So really massaging every time you brush or you're, giving yourself a little headache massage or you're doing shampoo. Checking hormones could also be important. They change with childbirth and menopause and all that. And then topically, there's things you can do like castor oil, saw palmetto. You can do that internally too. Even for things like male pattern baldness, saw palmetto can be helpful. And for graying. So there are little solutions out there that are natural. But if you've got a big issue, I encourage you to get to the root cause. And we are